What's up, everybody? One Fun Guy podcast in the studio. Just waiting on my buddy Kelly to hop on. We're going to do the pod call tonight. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Some major things are happening with bands that we're going to have on. Podcast I'm doing with my One Fun Guy podcast. It's going to be awesome. So I hope that everybody is on. If you're here, say hi. Do all the things we can do. We're going to be on. What's up, Sylvia? I'm going to wait for Kelly to get on. We're going to go from there. It's going to be awesome. So if you guys are on, say hi, say what's up, share the show. If you can like, that would be great. If you don't follow me and I'll follow you back. Most of everybody here is OGs anyway, so you guys are all on. But I'm going to share the show out real quick. I'm going to get Kelly on when he's here, and we're going to go from there. It's going to be awesome. I'm just going to send this out to a few people here, see what we can come up with, and kind of go from there, see what we can get into tonight. So if you're on, say hey. If you're new here, say hi. If you haven't been on before, we are the Pod Cult. We talk about metal and hard rock, but we're just on anyway. So if you're here, say hi. Welcome. If you guys are new, say hi. If you're not, welcome back. Hopefully everybody is on. If you guys are here, give me a follow, guys. I'll follow you back. Say hey, be a part of this. If you're here, we're gonna say hi to everybody. So it's going to be a fun night, guys. We're doing the thing here. I'm going to get my partner on, and it's going to be awesome. So just sit tight, guys. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight. It's going to be a good show. I'm trying to find him. I don't know where he's at, but give me a minute. Heath, what's up? If you guys are new here, say hi. We're doing our thing tonight, guys. We're gonna hang out and chat and talk some music and see what's going on in the world of hard rock and heavy metal. Give our opinions on some stuff. See what's happening. We're going to share it out. If you guys are on, say hi. If you're here and you're new, say hi. We love having new people on. We love interacting with you guys. So be part of the show. Say hey, say what's up. It's awesome, guys. So I'm glad you're here. We're going to be doing our thing tonight, so just sit tight, guys. Penniless, what's up? Hopi, what's up? So we're gonna say what's up, and we're gonna go from there. So hopefully you guys like what you see, and share it out. We're gonna go from there. This is awesome. Thank you guys so much. Hazel, what's going on? You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm looking for Kelly, and I don't know where he's at. So give me a second, guys. He comes on through the link I share, so hopefully he's on and I can find him. That's the game plan anyways. I'm going to see where he is at. So just sit tight, guys. I'm not ignoring you. Just say hey. If you're on, welcome. I appreciate all the love and support, guys, as always. It's fantastic. I can't find him, though, so I don't know what's going on. I'm looking for him. I hope he's on. Oh, there he is. I think I found him. So if you guys are here, if you like the show, that's awesome, guys. There is no requirement to hang out with me, guys. I don't make you tap the screen. I don't make you touch my nose. I don't make you, you guys, you like the show, that's awesome. If you send gifts, I appreciate it, guys. They are not required. We just hang out. We have a good time. We talk music and metal. We don't require anything for you guys to hang out here, guys. This is just a cool, fun show. There's nothing other than you being here is all we ask for, guys. We don't make you send us gifts. We don't ask for anything. If you do, we obviously, we appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts, but we don't ask for it, guys, and it's not a requirement ever to hang out with us, guys. As long as you're here and you're doing your thing, that's all we ask for, guys. We don't ask for you guys to do anything special. There are no gifts here. Like I said, we just like hanging out and talking with you guys. So if you're new here, say hi. If it's your first time, tell us where you're from. Follow us. We'll follow you back. Tell us what kind of music you like, what you guys are into. This is a little bit different than my podcast, because my podcast, The One Fun Guy, I basically hang out and do my thing and talk to my guest about what they want to talk about. But tonight, here's my other half. He's coming on. What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Good. What's happening?
Not a whole lot. I just got some sad news though. I saw that your buddy Jeffrey is going through a rough time cancer wise.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I know
Yeah.
I know they put out a thing on Facebook, about it, and I guess his wife lost her battle with cancer.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
like not
I
within the
I just got
last
the
year.
news.
So,
Yeah. No, I just
so
got the
yeah.
news.
So it's
His
So if you
daughter
guys
put
don't
up
know
a
what we're talking about, guys, Jeffrey
sorry.
Nothing, the original singer of Mushroom Head, his daughter put out a thing yesterday. They're asking for GoFundMe, and they basically are starting his battle with cancer. I don't know what the bands are like, what's going on in their camp, right? Obviously, I'm a huge Mushroom Head fan. I don't know if the other members of the band are like, I think they're still all friends. I know there was some bad blood, but I don't think it's anything that would like, you know, affect their friendship over this. But yeah, so the daughter made the announcement, said, "Hey, Jeffrey is starting his chemotherapy. He was diagnosed with, was it throat cancer? I don't remember what they said." Um,
I didn't see the type, but yeah. No, sorry that I jumped right in. I
no,
just
no,
it was just very. I just got
yeah.
a
So
metal injection update. Yeah.
yeah,
So
and it's always sad, right? Because like we saw Chuck Schuldiner go through brain cancer, right? He basically said, "We make money, but we don't have insurance. We're a band. We don't. We have our, our assets, but we don't. In the health community, we're not covered." And it was a big thing back. What was that? That was like early 2000s, right? Like late 90s when he was battling. They had
yeah.
4 years of it, right? But basically, all the money that was raised for him was done before social media, right? So people were like, that was a big thing in the metal community, where bands were saying, "Hey, when you're live at the show, if you could leave $5 for Chuck," right? And they'd have these little, those little bowls at the thing with the screw on top, and people would drop in cash, and that's how they were doing it, right? That's what they were, that's how they basically, fans were helping Chuck out when he ultimately lost his battle. But like, that's kind of how it was. So kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now,
No. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, sorry for jumping straight into
no, and
that
it's
topic, but yeah.
yeah,
No.
and it's kind of bizarre too, because I think it's one thing that we should talk about. You would know this obviously much more than I do, but when you're in a band and you're starting out, right? It's not like a real job unless you are, a band that makes a good amount of money playing live, right? Most of the time you have to have a spouse that carries insurance, or you have to buy it on your own, which most, people don't think about. They just go to work, they get employed, and their job says, "Hey, here's insurance." You have it, right? But when you're in a band or you're an independent, musician, you don't have that. You don't have the insurance unless you buy it. And it's
Yeah.
expensive to carry a single coverage, right? So it's, not things that most people think about in the community, right? Most people are like, this is just kind of how we are, and so
Yeah. Yeah. No. What I saw was that the treatment path that he's chosen will make it impossible for him to keep doing the band thing for a while.
yeah,
And the GoFundMe is they have a target amount of 20 grand. So, it's a good chunk of money, but it
yeah,
doesn't, but it's not a million,
right,
so it's something, but it was still sad to see when that,
yeah,
it's been a sad week. or sad month or so, right? Because
Yeah.
we had Nico McBrain, obviously, he had to step down.
And the thing is with Nico too, right? A lot of people didn't know that he had had a stroke and then had another one. Most people didn't understand why he was taking a break. Hunter, what's up? And that was the thing about it. And a lot of the Iron Maiden camp, they did a great job because they didn't say anything, right? They all knew, but they didn't tell the fans, right? They just kind of let him go back. He had his first stroke was pretty mild, and he was able to get through it. And then he had a second stroke, which basically like took a lot of his left side of his body, and people didn't know that he fought through to drum on this last tour, and basically said I can't keep up. And all the fans in Iron Maiden, they didn't know he had had the stroke. They finally came out and said the reason he's not touring anymore is because he physically can't. He can't, drum.
Yeah.
And I think that from a fan standpoint, right? As soon as you hear breaking news about something, right? Somebody leaves a band, they retire, they don't want to play anymore. Like everybody just jumps to the worst conclusion possible, right? Like, oh, something must be wrong. They must not be getting along. They must not like each other. He must just be tired of the band. He's been in the band for 40 years. He must not want to do it anymore. And like a lot of the, behind the scenes stuff that a fan doesn't know about, he would be none the wiser, right? Like and I know they just did that big thing where like Iron Maiden was saying about how strong they were and about how, but it's like they're all up in age, right? you you,
Oh
you
yeah.
think about it, like when you're at that age, right, when you're 65, 67, 70, right, that's grandparent age, that's retirement age, right? That's not rock star age, right? So God bless them for doing it as long as they did and giving us all those years of great music and entertainment. But I mean, at some point they have to enjoy their lives too, right? It's hard to tour at 25, let alone 75.
Yeah, but but I mean, in a way, I mean, they are living the dream, right? It's not
They
like
are.
retirement is like, no, retirement is when I physically can't do it anymore, and that's what
Sure.
happening to these bands, right?
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
know we
so
talked about it a few weeks ago, right? About 2025, we were going to see a lot of bands just saying, "Hey, we can't do it anymore, right? We just need to put it down and set it aside, and as much as you want to, no one wants to see the Ozzy Osbourne thing happen, right? Where he's still trying to perform and he just physically can't do it, and they're
right,
and they can't prop him up anymore, and they can't do it, and people still want to see him, right? If Ozzy said he was going on tour, he'd sell out, right? Everybody would be like, "Oh, this is awesome." Thanks, guys, for the gifts. I appreciate it. Ducky, what's going on? Thank you so much. But I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, we're looking at it from a standpoint of, two fans that, understand what it's like. That's awesome. Ducky, thank you. Like two fans that understand, and appreciate the music that was given to us, where you have a lot of fans that are basically like, "Lay, what's going on?" That are basically like, at this point, they're kind of upset, right? They're like, "Why are you cheating me? Why aren't you giving me what we want to see? Why are you doing this to us?" And it's like, it's not your call to make, right?
yeah,
And it's just so weird and bizarre when you see that. It's like, it's just so crazy that, they people think that they're selfish when they do it, right?
yeah, uh, yeah. I mean, but it is true also that uh, well, I think that Iron Maiden, just because they're so huge and make so much money, they can
Right.
afford to be well taken care of when they're
Sure.
on tour. Like, but if you're mid tier, like you still have to do a lot on your own, and you still have
Right.
all these time. It's not an easy life to go through,
Oh
right?
no, not at all.
So your body takes a toll for sure, right?
Absolutely.
So um, yeah, just this week. Also, I'm from Sweden, right? We lost two sort of giants in the Swedish metal history community, and it was just in the last couple of days. The
Mm.
original guitar player for Unleashed passed away, and arguably Sweden's first heavy metal band, Heavy Load, lost one of their founding members as well. So at 67 or something like that.
Hmm.
So it's been these bands have been around for a while now, right? I mean,
Right.
it's not a kind of music that's been around for a long time, and a lot of these guys are. I mean, there's a lot of heavy drinking for a lot of them, and a lot
Sure.
of unhealthy choices, earlier in
Yeah.
their lives that might be catching up with them, right?
Right.
Um, but you were talking about how it's not a day job, and it's true. I remember way back when, was it 94? Right before they broke super huge, I had a chance to sit down with Green Day, and yeah, I didn't know how big they were or whatever, right?
Right.
So I asked them the question, like, are you able to support yourselves on your music, or do you go home and have a job after this tour type of thing? Like,
Right.
what do you guys do? And they're like, no, this is what we do. But as far as I know, we're working harder than anybody else I know, because we're working 7 days a week. And if we have, day 10 off, what do we do on that day? Well, we drive. We sit
Right.
in the stinky fucking van for, for
Right.
10
Yeah,
hours that
it's true,
day
right?
to get to the next spot. So it's like, it's very frustrating and tiring, but it's kind of the drudgery of what you have to do when you're in the mid tier, right? You're not taken care of. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your money. You have to make sure that your money is going where it's supposed to, and
Right.
yeah, you still have to pay the rent, because when the
Sure.
tour is done, you still have, all that stuff needs to be taken care of, and you have to do all that yourself while you're still basically working 18-hour days.
Right.
So yeah, it's a rough life, and I don't think that there's a whole lot of money left over for a lot of these folks.
Yeah,
So
and that's the thing, right? Like we look at, rock stars, right? And we're like, "Oh, they must be living the life, right? And they must be, living the dream and they get to play every night and they get to tour every night." But I don't think most people really understand what it costs to be a rock star, right? Like, when you're a mid-level touring band, right? And you're putting out albums and you're trying to go on tour, right? You have to make smart decisions. You have to make sound decisions, right? You have to allocate your money wisely, right? It's not like the old decadence where everyone sees the Motley Crue party 24/7, right? Like those days are gone, right? Like they're the record companies now aren't paying you to be rock stars. They're paying you to work, right? It's your job. And,
yeah.
and I think that's like the difference when you look at like the 70s and 80s when it was like handed to you on a silver platter, right? Here, sign this. Here's your record deal. You're going to get $1 million. We're going to move you into a mansion in Beverly Hills and you're going to play the Sunset Strip every night, right? And then I think that's kind of like where, everybody saw that, right? Where it was just one big giant party all the time, right? That's all they did was play music and be rock stars, right? And everybody was like, oh, how awesome would it be to be a rock star, right? And now when you look at a rock star, right? Like it's hard work, right? They put the effort into it. It's not like it was 30, 40 years ago. And I think that a lot of people
Oh yeah.
now are starting to see that, right? Especially when bands are open and candid about what it takes to merchandise and sell their own stuff, and to basically be a salesman, right? You're selling yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and the bands that I've been around that I've seen backstage before shows and stuff, it's like, yeah, no, I gotta go nap. I gotta go sleep.
Right.
There's no drinking before the show or whatever, right? Maybe afterwards, right? And first order of business is like, I hope the venue that where we're playing next, tomorrow, have a functioning shower.
Yeah. Right.
So and we're talking about bands that are reasonable size still,
Yeah.
but that's
Right. and,
still,
and
they're every day, yeah, so it's rough, and yeah, and now when those bands have been around for a while,
right.
I mean, it's got to catch up with them, right?
Yeah.
To
and
have that life. So
and I think that's the
but you do
thing,
it
right? When
because you
you
like
look
it.
at it.
At the end of the day, if you've done that, and you're 55 or whatever, and then your body gives out, it's like, yeah, can't do it anymore. I
Right.
maybe they have to go to become Uber drivers now or whatever,
Yeah.
because they
Right.
don't have a trade to fall back on or whatever, right? But I still feel like, that they feel like, okay, no, I left it all on the ice. Like, I've had a good life, and now I just need to sort
Yeah.
of ride it out.
Exactly.
So, um, but it's still a little bit sad when that happens, right? But I guess it is what it is, to some
Yeah.
extent. But anyway, Cool. So
Yeah,
you're going to a show tomorrow.
I
Tell us a
am.
little about
So
that.
I'm gonna see Zach Sabbath tomorrow in Milwaukee. So if any of you guys are in and around the Milwaukee area and you want to hang out and say hi, and if you're going to the show, I'll be there. If you guys don't know what Zach Sabbath is, that is Zach Wild. Um, I believe he's playing with Blasco and um, I think Tempesta is his drummer, and they basically play Black Sabbath songs. So it's Zach Wild sings and plays all the Black Sabbath stuff, and they play 2 hours. It's like a cover band of rock stars that are there, right? So it's kind of cool.
You should be able to do it. You know,
So
he's been around for a while too. Was he
yeah,
ever? Was he ever a singing guitarist? No, they never had a. He was never with them. He was just with Ozzy, which is close enough, I guess.
yeah. So he had his
I'm
thank you
going
guys for all the
cheap.
gifts. I appreciate it. Ellie, what's up?
Hey,
So
Ali.
I know when Zach started out, he went right into Ozzy, and then when Ozzy wasn't touring, he had done a few solo albums. He was really big into Southern rock, and a lot of people don't know that about him. He was a huge Skinner fan, huge Allman Brothers fan. A lot of like the Southern rock stuff was he dug Molly Hatchet and a bunch of stuff like that. So he made like a cover, like a country album. Basically, it was like a bluegrass. It was all acoustic, and and then he called it Pride and Glory, and that get people to link up to us and kind of go that way, then yes, that's what we're going to do, right? And I think it really helps when you look at it from that standpoint, that even if you are a big band now, right? I think it's cool when bigger bands give glimpses behind the scenes, right? That you see them hanging out, being real people, right? Because at the end of the day, they're just human like we are, right? They just have a special talent where they were able to create music and people liked what they did, right? But at the end of the day, they're still people, right? So, they still like to have a good time. They still like to hang out. They're still sad sometimes. And to give us a glimpse into that now is awesome. And I know we've talked about it, in the past, but it's like, I think it's really cool when you get to see bands just hanging out, being dudes, right? And being fun people, right? That it's not all about the music and being a rock star. And it's like, and you get a glimpse into their family life and you get a glimpse into their personal life, right? You get a glimpse behind the scenes, right? It's cool. People want to see that now. Like, they all understand that these guys get up on stage every night and they play to sold out arenas, but they also want to see what they do with their kids or what they do with their wives or what they do on their spare time, right? People are interested in that. And I think that social media now gives us that, interaction with them that we didn't get to see before. We're totally behind the scenes with them. And it's a great kind of glimpse into what's happening.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you that, if you feel a personal connection and the music might come along with it, or the other way around, right? Or you like the music and then it turns out you like the people too, then you're an even bigger fan type of thing.
Right.
But I also think that for people that aren't there quite yet, that, they have that notoriety that people look you up. If you put yourself, like what I'm trying to do a little bit is to put myself out there as much as I possibly can. And then someone comes along, accidentally sees something like you did when I had 12 followers or whatever, right? Hey, I like what you're doing. I think that you'd be a good fit for whatever I'm doing, whether it's like, hey, you're a great guitar player.
Right.
We're looking for a guitar player. It looks like you're here in town. Let's chat.
And,
Or hey, what you're talking about is the same that I like to talk about on my radio show, like what you did with a podcast, right? When you first invited me, right? So if you put yourself out there, it's easier for others to find you than it is for you to do that, like the cold calling, if you will, right? Send out email blasts. Hey, I'm such and such. Take a look at my stuff. And it's like, people aren't going to do that necessarily unless you have something to, well, if you can say that, well, I have 150,000 followers on TikTok, then they're going to sit up and listen, right? But
so speaking of that, on a side note, you're putting in the work, right? I see you're live now more often. You do kind of a regular thing on the weekends, and you kind of sporadically sometimes go live during the night. Is that all by design? Did you plan that, or did you just kind of say, well, I'm bored, I'll just go live? Or is it strategic? Is there some strategy behind it?
Well, it's trying a lot of things and then seeing what works and what resonates, right?
Okay.
So I noticed, I mean, I was always a lot about, listening to unknown bands. I used to have fanzine in the 90s and stuff, and people sent in their demo tapes, or even in the beginning, it was like demo tapes that we bought, that we reviewed and put out there because we thought this is cool. We want to, so I started doing that as listening parties on TikTok, right? Like if you're in a band, I'll play it, right? Turns out there are a lot of bands out there that want to get played, and as you climb up in the TikTok ranks, the more likes you get, the more gifts you get. The more TikTok pushes you out to more people, which in return means that you're exposed to more people, and there's even more people coming in to do their stuff, right? So yeah. I basically just started doing listening parties, just like I want to sit down and listen to some stuff with other people, as if I was sitting in my living room with a stack of records, right? But yeah, no, and people responded to that, and then I do my little posts in between, which are more topical or discussion points or whatever, right? And I try to tie in whatever I'm doing live, like I did an IKEA post.
Look at that.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's awesome.
I did a little sort of like, IKEA are gonna stop using Swedish words for their product names, whatever, right? So they're gonna do metal names now instead. So the Infant Annihilator high chair and whatever else, right? Stupid shit like that. But then I went on in the afternoon and said, let's just listen to Swedish metal. So sort of to get that thread, a little bit of
Right.
continuity, and that seems to be working. But
What
yeah,
popped
I
on?
mean,
What was
I
what
had
was
a
a good?
radio show. I had a radio show. Middle World Radio approached me and said, I like what you're doing. I want to have you on my show and stuff like that, right? So it's if you keep things relevant and you seem like a good person, then it gets pushed out, and if people like you, they hit the like or they share it out or whatever. So that's really awesome.
Right. Now on your own show, when you go live, do you self promote that, or do you like how? Because I just happened to hop into your live the other day, and
Yeah,
like super
that's awesome.
impressed, right? Because there was like 50 people watching you, right? And
Mhm.
you had over 20,000 likes. I think it was pretty incredible. Now, is that like the community you built, or is that just new people hopping on, or is that kind of like how what's your approach to this?
Well, I start by creating a live event that you can do in TikTok. So it's scheduled to start at a certain time. And then about a half hour before I go on, I put out a little promo video saying that I'm going live about this. TikTok likes that, because you can add a video to the live event
Right.
to promote it. Um, and then I just hop on and talk as much as possible in the beginning, just so when
Sure.
it starts to get pushed out, because it does matter, like how many hop on in the first 10 minutes, like what
Yeah, it
happens in the
matters.
first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I talk a lot during the first 10 minutes just to repeat, like, this is what I'm doing, this is what the live is about, this is who should join it, and this is what we're gonna do. And then it sort of snowballs from there. But yeah,
Right.
no, it's a curve, right? The first time I did it, I had 6, 7 people, something like that. Like um, not a whole heck of a lot, but it
Yeah.
grows over time. And there's this TikTok league ranking system. Let me see, we're in League D2. Wow, we've jumped up quite a
Yeah,
bit.
because I mean,
We're
like
top 10
obviously,
of
you
D2.
get obviously the approach is to get to the A League, right? Like that's the big that's over 1,000 people watching your lives. I think you get 100,000 likes every time you go live. Like that's how you get in the A League, right? But I've noticed that on the league thing, that a lot of people kind of get stuck in that B, like CB group or high D group, right? Because obviously D2, we're in the top 10%. We'd still have to go to D1, and then we go to, I think, to C3, C2, C1, and then
It's a
B3, B,
C5.
is it
Yeah,
C5? So,
yeah,
yeah, so I mean, there's like, it takes a while to get to that elite group, right? That's,
yeah. And you have to be consistent, and you have to get a lot, like, it's based on diamonds, which is gifts, right?
right,
Every, like, a rose is 1 diamond or whatever. But need to get, 100,000 or something stupid like that to get
yeah,
up really high. But I mean, but what I do, and this is because so many people showed up, and my playlist, if I'm on for 2 hours, but I get 60 songs requested, I can't get through 60 songs. So if
right.
someone hops on and they really want their song to be played, I say, well, okay, bribe me.
Yeah,
then,
right.
then it's like, but so I have a pretty hefty price for skipping the line, so I feel a little bit bad about it because it is so hefty of a price, but at the
Sure.
same time, it feels like, yeah, but also the people that have been waiting, that are patient and whatever,
Right,
like, they should feel okay about, yeah, okay, if someone sends a Galaxy, I can't I can't complain about that. I get it,
right.
yeah, sure, so that's what I've done, and that's how I get the diamonds to climb up those leagues. But the thing is that the higher of league you get into, the more people get pushed out too. So it's
Yeah,
kind of like,
sure.
it's an upward spiral, a little bit. But you have to be consistent. You have to be on pretty much every day. Otherwise, you sort of lose ranking and stuff like that. So,
Sure.
but yeah, so there's a little bit of, that your band thing I'm doing pretty often now. Um, because it's fun, it's great.
Right.
I love to support. There was one band that messaged me after and said, like, after we were on your live stream, our monthly listener um, count went up by 700 in 1 week, and I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Because it's like, hey, you guys are awesome. These guys have 49 monthly listeners. Just take 10 seconds out of your life and hit that follow
Right.
button, and you're
Now,
like,
do
wow.
you
So
find like so when I first started with TikTok, I was kind of like, I hate to use the word sucked in, but I was like sucked in, right? Like I went live 5 nights a week, sometimes 3, 4 hours a night. Sometimes I
Mhm.
had nobody watching me and I would just stay on and just kind of hit the grind,
Yep.
and just talk and talk and talk and talk. And then finally I realized that it was kind of overwhelming, right? That I didn't want to dedicate that much time to TikTok, right? And I just kind of wanted to go into my own kind of spectrum of saying, all right, I know I still need to go live, but maybe if I tone it down, instead of going live 5 nights a week, maybe I'll go live 3 nights a week or 2 nights a week, or I'll cap my live time, right? I'll say, listen, I'll go 3 nights a week, but it's not going to be for more than 3 hours, right? Even if I have 30 people watching me, after 3 hours, I'm shutting it down. And I just kind of found that it was like, for me and my journey, like I played the game, but it was a cost to me, right? Like I
Yes.
wasn't doing anything productive. I would literally get home and be like, okay, I'm going to go live on TikTok, right? And I would just get changed and I would come down and I would just hit the live button and go live. And I didn't have any topics. I didn't have anything specific. I would just talk to be on, right? Because I wanted people to see me. So I'm wondering, like, just from your perspective, do you think you're going to get consumed by it or do you think you'll be able to control it?
Yeah, no, I think the main thing is to get something out of it, right? So to build the audience, when you figured out that it's about the diamonds, basically in the algorithm, what TikTok pushes out, then it's like, well, what is it? What is it that gets you those diamonds? It sounds very capitalistic or whatever, but it's true
Sure.
because that's what TikTok responds to.
Right.
Um, so for me, when I do my live casts, I'm on for 2 hours, but it's the last half hour when I start saying that, okay, I'm only going to be on for another half hour. That's when people start to panic, and that's when people are, giving me those
Mhm.
galaxies, and that's when I get the bulk of the diamonds, and that's how I get the fragments to get higher up in the leagues and all that
Right.
all that stuff, right? And I'm not going to lie, I'm getting some money out of it too. It's
Yeah.
nice to get a few dollars in the pocket. But yeah, so if I keep it to 2 hours, but I make sure that here's audience participation and
Right.
that they are motivated to send those diamonds my way.
Now,
That
now when
that
you
that's what
when
growth is
you
there. YouTube
when
is
you
different.
when you do your lives and you're done, do you leave them be or do you download them and post them to YouTube or to other platforms? Or do you just stay on TikTok?
No, I don't. I think I've posted the highlights a couple of times, but that was only, I usually check it after, but I think it's cringy.
Right.
I don't like
Okay.
watching myself
Cause
so much.
cause the
But
way
what I do though is that I save all the Spotify playlists and have them join my Discord instead, so they can go and still listen to the live there. But I don't make the videos available. But I should maybe I should start doing the YouTube thing. I'm not on YouTube at all, so I should
well, the
probably
only reason why
get on
why
there.
I asked is because obviously, like with the pod cult, like I started that, but I put all my stuff on there as well, and vice versa, right? So like when we're done with this, I'll put this on the One Fun Guy podcast, and I'll also upload it to the pod cult. But the only reason why is because I want my algorithm where I want to find my niche is YouTube, right? And I'm not saying I don't like TikTok and I don't support TikTok or anything like that, but like YouTube is where I want to be, right? That's where your growth is going to be, at least
Mhm.
monetarily. If you want people to see you, it's going to be YouTube, right? And so, not a knock against TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, right? But YouTube is where, if you're going to make money and you're going to do it on a platform, YouTube is where it's going to be. And I like the idea that TikTok allows you to make money while you enjoy doing the things you're doing, right? But it's at a cost, right? Somebody can flag you for anything, right? Somebody can basically say, you made a comment and I didn't like it, and they can shut you down. Where on YouTube, they can't do that. Like that's kind of a
Right.
safe platform where you can kind of post what you want to post, and as long as you're not hurting anybody or being, making, racist or sexist remarks, they let everything fly over there. We're here, you seem to get caught up in a lot of what isn't happening, where I don't like it as that platform way, only because of the fact, like, I'm a big proponent of First Amendment rights, right? Like you say what you want to say, but obviously this platform, is a little bit more unique. So it's just, I find it that like a lot of people get frustrated because somebody can basically say, I didn't like your live, and flag you, you get banned. and I know you're not supposed to say it, but I don't care. But
Yeah.
anyways, like, but that's the thing where you don't on other platforms.
So there is a bit of protection against that as well. So I'm a member of what's called a creator network or an
Sure.
agency.
Yeah, I am too.
So if you get a ban or whatever, then you go to your agency and you say, "Hey, I got banned for something," and basically they can have that lifted, except for a few, like no ban is going to be lifted if you do live while driving, for
Right.
example, right? That's dangerous activity. Don't do that ever. Nobody is allowed to do that type of thing, right? So that's one thing. But but the reason why I think that I have not gone the YouTube route so much, especially with my live thing, is or to even post the replays, is that I'm just sitting there listening to tunes with people that are there in that moment.
Right.
I don't think that there would be much interest in that to someone after the fact. It's like
Yeah.
a in the moment type of thing. So what I'm thinking will be better for YouTube stuff if I do that is if I do interviews with people that people
Yeah.
will
Well,
come back and watch. Like what
I
we're
was
doing
gonna
is a
say,
conversation that people
right.
can go in and listen to. Um, or if I'm composing and people wanna see like, okay, what's my workflow like? What plugins do I use? What software do I have on my computer? All that stuff.
Well, that's what I was going to say
That
is
could be
because
useful at
people
any time.
like when people vlog, right? They want to see behind the scenes, right? And one of my biggest questions that I get asked is like, what do I have for my setup? Like, what do I use, right? And it's nothing secretive. I don't have a big like studio setup. I don't have. I'm in a little cubby in my basement that just is nice. That I'm luckily I have a cool, but like I still want to work on this, but this is better than what I had. But it's like but I get that all the time. Like, what equipment do you use, and what do you like? I have a $30 Amazon speaker. I have a $25 Amazon mic. Right, it does the job, but it's not anything elaborate. And I know a lot of people that do podcasts have these really expensive camera systems, and they have all this software, and they have like I just can't afford that. I just I'm
Yeah.
still new, right? I'm hoping 3 or 4 years down the road where if I monetize my YouTube channel and I start getting a couple $100 a month, I could buy better stuff.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, but that's another thing with the TikTok. I'm not afraid to say it, but um, I make a decent amount of money on the TikTok now, so I'm spending a little bit. But to let you know, this sort of piece of cloth here,
Right.
that was $10, so I just got this, and a frame that was I think was 20 maybe,
Yeah.
and I have a little light over there that was also 15
Right.
maybe dollars whatever, right? And I have a stand that also was $15, so it's the cheapest setup there is.
Yeah.
I mean, I have another microphone, but that's for a recording microphone, and I use that for my lives because it's plugged into the desktop or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm just you can you can definitely get a setup for pretty cheap. I haven't noticed since I started using this backdrop that any of my audience or attention or reactions
Right.
have been any different whatsoever. But I feel a little bit better
Yeah.
about it. There's the next thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Well, because
sort of
that was the thing,
progressing.
right? I talked about this before. They have that Trek lighting where it's tape and you just put it around and it's got LEDs. I was thinking about putting that
Yeah,
around this and like lighting it up, right? And making it kind of like, but at the same point, it's like if I spend $75 and it doesn't look good, then I just blow $75.
that's kind of what I was thinking too. So when I mean, I just made a split second decision to go with a brick wall, but obviously I could have had a forest. I could have
Right.
had like a portrait studio
Yeah.
type of thing going on or whatever. But I just after 10 seconds of scrolling, it was like brick always works.
Right.
But yeah, in those LED things, I thought about that too, and it was like, no, man, then I have to put it all up, and it has to look good. Like, and even when I put it up, I have to think about where to put it up and how to place my camera in that case for it to be.
Yeah.
It's too much work. So,
Right.
backsplash works for me.
And that's the biggest thing, right? Because I have obviously the light above me here, which is the ambient light. I have my ring light in front of me, and I don't want it to be too bright because then it reflects off the back, and you can see
Yeah,
the ring in the back of the wood. So I thought if I got lighting, but I can't dim these lights at all, right? So like I'm either all or nothing, right? I don't have a dimmer on a switch where some people can dim their lights and they have the black, the lighting in the back, and they can turn it purple and blue, and it looks really cool. I don't have that.
yeah.
This is either all on or nothing.
Yeah, I'll show you because I've got this thing like this. This is just a so it's
Yeah.
kind of a matte light, right? It's not a ring light. The reason why I don't use a ring light is because I wear glasses, and you see rings reflected in my
Yeah.
glasses
Right. So
if we
I'm
use that.
I'm in the same boat.
So
So I got this.
well, there you go. Yeah,
It's the same thing. So I put that there,
you can
and it
switch it over. So it's a
yeah.
little too yellow, and I have to correct
Right.
the color balance here a little bit, so it
And
gets a
it's
little bit more on the blue side. But
yeah, it's the
it's a
same.
work in
It's the
progress.
same boat. And then I also have this too, which is I put it on and it turns colors.
Ooh, but
So
that's
like
cool.
when I dim the light, you can see the reflection of it. But like I don't really ever turn it off because if I do, then I'm in the position where now it all reflects off of this.
Yeah,
And I tried putting up the black sheet over that, like the thing when I first did it, and it was so incredibly dark that it just brought the lighting down. And it was like it was just I couldn't figure it out. So I don't know. So I got these off of Timu.
yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah, no, it's it seems like it's a progression too. I mean, when you if there's a YouTuber you like or whatever, and you go back to their episode one, it's pretty
Yeah,
cringy
it's
usually.
right. It's exactly
Hardly
it.
anyone even keeps those on. It's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna delete my first 30 episodes
Yeah,
because I looked like crap. I was stuttering, and I was whatever the setup was nuts or whatever. So yeah, so it's always a progression of but you figure it out as you go along. But it's part of the brand too, right? What is it that you want to portray? Are you really
yeah.
like the moody LED lights type of guy, or not, right?
I am when they look cool, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I would love to
Yeah,
have
I
like
mean,
ambient,
but
but the problem is that I don't have like right now, my light up above me, the ceiling light is either on or off. I can't dim it. I can't control
right,
it. Now, if I were to be able, like, if I were to put a dim switch down here and maybe dim it down, and I had the lights in the back, it would probably look pretty awesome. But putting bright lights with this light would defeat the having the bright lights because it would either be all white or if I turned them red, you wouldn't be able to tell because I can't dim this down. And the only way for me to get this off is to turn it off. Then
yeah,
you wouldn't be able to see me because it'd be complete darkness.
yeah. No, that's
So
true,
I'm
and that's where it's like, okay, so what do I need to? If that's a
right.
factor, like what can I replace it with? And then it's like, man, then I have to get two spotlight type things that I can dim. And then it becomes a hassle. So, but yeah, no, we do what we can work with. But I've like I said, the past week or so when I've been using this, I haven't seen any sort of difference in audience reaction, or some people notice because I had a logo on. It's
Sure.
like, oh, you got a logo
Yeah.
on, but it didn't make a difference in terms of reaction, attendance, or any of that. So
Yeah.
that tells me that it's still about the content, like who are for this, who are
Yeah.
we? When we
Right.
are talking about things, can people relate to us? To and all that stuff. That's really what matters. But
Yeah.
certainly, to get noticed by folks that are like, hey, those two guys might be good for a Sirius
Yeah.
XM satellite radio show.
Right.
They probably would keep scrolling if we look like shit,
And it's
But if
kind
we
of
look,
crazy too because I
but
thought
if we
about
look pro, then it's
yeah.
like, yeah, no, I'm gonna stop an extra second here, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy because I thought about you the other day too. Because I ordered that Pantera album I showed you, right? The one I got, the Vulgar Display of Power, right?
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
have no means to listen to it, right? So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Z2 Comics put out a Vulgar Display of Power re-release where it was all original artwork with the way that it was, and I want to listen to it, but I don't have a record player. So I think maybe me and you one of these days should get together and go record player shopping because I need to find one.
yeah. There's
So
a there's a decent place here in Bourbon.
so I might
Used story. It's great.
I need a record player because I don't have one. And like Mushroom Head came out with their re-releases, and I want to buy them, but I if I buy them, I can't play them. And the kind of point of buying it is to play it. Like I'm not like I would not want to like keep that in the cellophane and just put it and mount it up, right? I want to listen to it, right? Pantera is my favorite band. I don't want to like I'll keep it for decoration, but I want to listen to the album too, right? Like I want to hear it the way it's meant to be,
Yeah,
right? Like obviously I could download their music, but like there's just something about popping in a CD or like putting on a record and just listening to it that just kind of takes you to a different place.
man.
It's a
Yeah,
completely different experience.
absolutely. I might have a record player. I because I got a better one from my wife for for Christmas a few years ago, so I might still have one in the basement.
Because I know there's one that I saw at Best Buy, and it wasn't very expensive. It was about like 159 bucks or something like that. But it
yeah.
had a speaker built into it, and it was Bluetooth. So not only could
Oh
you
yeah,
listen to record, you can put like, you could just Bluetooth your phone to play it. But it was kind of cool because if you had an outgoing speaker or a Bluetooth speaker, you connect the record player to the speaker and you can listen through to it through the speaker that's there as well. So I kind of thought that it would be cool maybe in the back there to put like a little table up and then put a record player on it and then listen to the records as they're going through, right? Because obviously CD players now are pretty much obsolete. You can't even find them anymore.
yeah. Well, actually, I have a spare CD player too.
I mean, I still have my Kenwood in my garage, right? Like I still have my system, right? With the speakers and the 3 disc shelf and like all of that,
Yeah,
which is awesome. It's just like I have nowhere to put it down here.
yeah,
I'd have
yeah.
to
No,
find a little table or something to put it on to listen to it.
yeah, no, I got you. No, but yeah, so when I was going through my my divorce, I I separated from my wife at the time and rented a basement, some guy's basement, to have his apartment. And then the pandemic hit. So I was stuck living in this freaking tiny basement through the pandemic with my, anyway. So but I did buy one of those Victrola
Yeah,
Bluetooth vinyl players because it was still like, what the hell am I supposed to do in this tiny
right.
room? Like, there were two spots in the whole place where I could
Yeah,
actually lie down, stretched out my body, right? And I'm not a tall guy. So I got one of those, and without speakers, it sucks so bad. It sucks so bad.
right.
So don't get that unless you hook it up to a speaker system. But even then, like the wiring is not very good.
Yeah.
So
So I
if
know
you're
the one
even a
I
little bit of
saw.
a if you're even a little bit picky, that's not the way to go. I'm just telling you that. But
Yeah.
there are some fairly priced, Sony's that have USB interfaces and that sort of stuff too that
Yeah.
can probably Bluetooth to that.
And that was the only reason why I liked the Bluetooth one is because it had the Bluetooth out as well. So if you had a speaker, like a separate speaker, the record player could connect to the Bluetooth speaker and play it through that speaker,
Yeah,
not through its own little one.
yeah, because it's usually just a Bluetooth input,
Right,
right? Which is that
right.
you can just send your phone stuff to be played
Yeah,
on that
right.
fucking
This was out
uh,
though, so it was kind of nice.
a speaker kind of like that,
Yeah, right.
like
Well, because they make the Marshall speakers, right? The Bluetooth Marshall ones.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
those are kind of cool,
They're
right?
nice. Yeah, they're nice. Yeah, I like the Sony Mega Boom.
Yeah,
That's my go-to.
yeah.
Um, anyway, cool. Where
So
were we
yeah,
going?
we
Okay, so yes, I have a record player. It's an old Mitsubishi, believe it or not. It was from the '80s, so it's a solid built.
yeah,
Uh, what's it called? Direct drive thing. So yeah, next time we meet up, and then I'll bring it along, and you can try it out if it still works. I don't know if it still works.
nice.
If not, then here in Berwyn, there's a cool buy and sell shop that I want to get a CD player with a CD changer.
Yeah,
So I had an old amplifier set that it was like, can I trade this in? Because my wife already had an amplifier here, so it's like, okay, can I do a
right.
trade in for a CD player? And it's like, yeah, sure, let's do that. So that's cool. So, but they had lots of stuff. So they have anything from gaming consoles to
Yeah,
record players to CD
that's awesome.
players to
I'm gonna have to
and
go and check
old
that out.
records and old TVs, VCRs. Probably a Betamax player somewhere in the
Right? Yeah,
corner.
right.
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Ask a cab model what to get. What do you mean?
Like
Like,
a cam model, like the girls that do like the risque videos.
oh, I see. Okay, so in terms of lighting, like how do
Yeah,
you
how to get the
how
angles right and
how do you
the
get it right?
cameras
Yeah,
right.
good call. you're talking to the right audience here. Those are exactly the type of people that me and Mark would be talking
Right?
to.
Yeah.
This is
You know, can't model.
watch out. The next decorations we'll get will be like
Right, trucker
fake
girls.
fake furs on the floor too, and nice futons.
Right, right.
Cool. So, do you have any plans for other than the show Thursday? What's up in the next week?
Not much. I have the show on Thursday. I'm really trying to get to see Vantana and Cyclone 9. It's a Tuesday night. It's November, February 11th at the West Chicago Social Club. So I might grab tickets to that. Um, I know that the cult is coming around for their 40th anniversary. I'd like to see them. Rumor is Faith No More's coming back, so I'd like to see them. Those would be like the two like rail bands right now that I've never seen in their own forms, right? So I've seen Billy Morrison, his band played, um, but it wasn't cult. It was more of a punky like kind of punk rock metal band. Um, and so I would like to see the cult, and I would like to see Faith No More. I wouldn't mind seeing Tesla again. They're supposed to come around to New Buffalo this summer, so they would be cool. They're always fun to see live. But as far as concerts go, obviously Zach Sabbath tomorrow, and then it'll just be filling in between. Like I said, I know Vantana is the Mushroomhead other group. It was Stitch and who's the other guy? Two of the original Mushroomhead guys were in Vantana, and they're opening for Cyclone 9, which I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're kind of like a cyber metal band. So they kind of have that electronic sound to them.
Nice.
They're kind of cool. So they're
Pass
actually
them on.
yeah
I'm totally into that.
yeah. So you'd probably dig that. That's Cyclone 9.
Yeah, probably. I
Yeah.
know that. I know that. Didn't Isan from Emperor have a Zyklon like with a Z band
Yeah,
in
it was
Memphis?
ZY, Zyklon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the Covenant did it, right? They went from a black metal band to basically a digital metal band. It's the best way to describe it. And
Yeah.
they have a really cool song called Jihad. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's awesome.
Covenant, they're Swedish, aren't they? Or no?
They might
Maybe
be. I don't know.
they might be. I know the name anyway, but
Yeah,
and
because
I
they
know that
started
they also
because
did
they
they
because they
also did the
started they
switch
made an
to
album and they got sued, right? So they started with the C, right? It was Covenant. And then they said you can't use that name, but they already put the album out and they pressed it. And they said, well, we're not going to pull the album. We'll just pay the royalties. And so the record label ended up paying whatever it was, a couple $100,000. And then they changed from the C and they went to the K. So they went to Covenant. And then they
oh okay,
became like a electric metal band. If I don't know how to describe it, but it was like kind of a very eclectic sound. So the Covenant was awesome.
cool. Yeah, I think they're Swedish. I'm pretty sure that
They could
my
be
my former brother-in-law was into them.
right.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Yeah, show wise, yeah, I'm on a little bit of a break. The next one coming up, we're gonna play on March 6th. I think at Liars Club, I think it is.
Okay.
With Once Dark, Twice
Okay.
Dark, not once, Twice Dark.
Twice Dark.
So they're another sort of like post-punky type of goth band. But then starts, you know, late March through early May. There's a slew of shows to go see. I mentioned them all too, but the weird thing is an exhausting thing when you're my age is
When you got to do it on a
that
weeknight,
they're on
it's tough, right?
Tuesdays and a
I'm,
Wednesday, and
I'm.
it's
That's
like
why
holy fuck.
I'm very hard pressed to date to go. It just so happened that I got Friday off, which is why I was going to see Zach Sabbath tomorrow night because I would have never done it if I didn't get Friday off. But I'm really debating to go to see Vantana and Cyclone 9, even though it's a Tuesday night and I still have to work on Wednesday. But like, I really don't want to miss it, and I don't know if I'm going to see it again. And the tickets are only $30, so it's like, you can't beat it for the price. But I know that's going to be a long Wednesday if I decide to go to that show. So I don't know. I'm still kind of tossed up about it if I want to pull the plug or if I just want to say I'll catch them later. But
Yeah. Did I tell you about my good luck with the helmet show?
no,
Okay, because we were gonna go to helmet, and but I procrastinated in getting tickets, and then it was like, okay, I'll get the tickets now, and they were sold out, but you could get on the waiting list and get ones for like 60 bucks a piece or whatever. And
right.
it was like, do I want to see helmet for 60 bucks a pop? Not so sure that I'm that into it on a Tuesday or whatever, right? Or a weeknight. Well, so, but my wife is friends with the opening band, War on Women. They're out of Baltimore, but they know each other from previous lives, and
Okay.
so my wife actually managed to get the singer of War on Women to put us on the guest list. So
Nice.
I get to go see War on Women and Helmet at the Cobra Lounge, which is a pretty small venue. So that's going to be
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
freaking
gonna be a good
awesome.
time.
For free.
Nice.
So spend the money on their awesome food and stuff.
Right.
Have you ever had a meal at Cobra Lounge? By the way, have you ever been
No.
there? Man, there I swear to God, I have. I love fries. I've eaten so many fries in so many places, but Cobra Lounge, I think, had the best fries I've ever had in my life.
Huh. Now,
Just
now I
saying.
kind of
And
want to go.
and a fried chicken sandwich, which was kind of fancy, but it's kind of a safe bet to me. Like when I try a place, well, if they can fry their chicken, they can do
Right.
the rest of their food well too. It was fantastic. So yeah, I decided that every time I'm going to Cobra Lounge from now on, I'm going to go there early and I'm going to eat there.
Nice.
Just
Now,
saying, hot
now I
tip:
kind of
if
want
you
to
ever
go
go to
and
Cobra Lounge, go there early and eat something because it's
right.
fantastic and reasonably priced.
Yeah, and now I kind of want to go and check it out. Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. On Saturday, we're just gonna go hang out with the singer from "If I Were the Devil"
Okay.
at the Burger Antics that I told you about.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Better than Kuma's in my opinion.
yeah, yeah.
Kuma's was freaking awesome. Don't get me wrong, but Burger Antics were kind of a next level, and that guy knows the owner too. They're cocktailiers, or mixologists, both of them.
Now
Too,
where's
so.
that at?
So that is just 10 minutes away from here, a little bit south. I forget what the area is called.
So is that Brookfield
Um,
or is that
it's not, it's a bit further south than that.
like Lions?
Yeah, just past Lions.
McCook?
I think. Uh, no,
I'll have to look it up because it looks good.
but
Because you showed me
it's
the
not as far
picture.
as Downers Grove type of thing. It's
Yeah.
so it's but I'll send you the details. But Burger
Awesome.
Antics, I think there's only one. But
Okay.
yeah, great place. Good atmosphere.
Yeah, we'll
Cool
have to go
art,
check it out
cool
sometime.
art in there. I mean, it's owned by a metal guy, so
Yeah.
obviously it's the atmosphere is right. Great burger and apparently awesome cocktails. I didn't try last time when I was there, but I'm
Right.
gonna Uber it there on Saturday to
Sure, sure.
try out a couple of drinky boos too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean I have an idea because I've met that guy at house parties before, and he's one of those guys that is like,
Right.
what can I make you? I don't know. What do you like?
Right.
And then just mix up a drink on the spot. Like, well, I like coconut and I like, it's like, okay, I got the thing for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah. I had an idea, by the way.
Yeah.
But I know that TikTok can be a little bit picky about the whole, consumption of or depiction of alcohol and that sort of thing. But so this Chris guy, singer of If I Were the Devil, he is a great mixologist, and he's come up with tons of cocktails that on his own that he's named after metal bands type of thing.
Nice.
So it will be cool at some point to to like have a alive with, okay, Chris is standing there with a dozen bottles or whatever in front of him, and someone says, I would like you to make me a Flesh God Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, a Flesh God Apocalypse. Well, that should have, and then it would make it up, and then you could try it out.
I'd be up for that, right? Like, see what we can get into.
That would be fun as hell. Just to, as a challenge, because, Anyway, I'm totally going.
No, that's
sideways
awesome.
here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
some cool people. Interesting.
yeah, one of these days we should probably just meet for lunch. We'll try that
Yeah.
burger place, and we'll just go
Mhm.
live from there, and we'll just hang out and
Yeah, why
chalk and
not?
eat, right? And we'll just do it from there and just have fun.
Yeah, that would be cool. We can sit there and talk to people with food in their mouths.
Right.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Hey, what better way to do it, right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. Now have people come on down, and if they're in the area and they want to have a burger, come on down and
Yeah. We'll
stick
set that
there.
up. Maybe we'll do that for like a Sunday afternoon or something like that. We'll just keep it low
Yeah,
key, and we'll just go and hang out and have a burger and food, and we'll just invite everybody and see who shows up, and we'll just prop. I'll bring the stand and the iPad, and we'll just go live at the table.
that would be cool. And I'm sure the with the in I have with the owner, it wouldn't be too much of a problem to get permissions to do that,
Yeah, I think so. Right?
if at all.
That'd be awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess we're
So,
coming up on the hour. We said
yeah, we
we're
just hit
gonna
the
go on
hour,
for the
so
hour.
yeah, we'll do that. We'll sign off, guys. Thanks for hopping on and watching us. Angie, what's up? It's been a while. How have you been? Um, but yeah, we'll do this. We'll basically get uh, our stuff together. If you guys, like I said, always guys, follow Kelly and what he's doing. He's got a really special thing going on over there with music and playing it, and it's a very fun live and a very interesting live. So if you guys can follow him, support him. He is fantastic, and he really has an entertaining live. I know we come on and we kind of just talk, so you just kind of hear us goof around, but his lives are very entertaining, filled with music, filled with bands, filled with like he's really got his A game going over there. So
Thank you so much. And if anyone of my folks are here, definitely follow Mark here,
yeah,
Bump on That
and
podcast. Great life stories and great content there. Super awesome.
yeah. So but that being said, guys, again, thank you for the love and support. Thank you for the gifts. We appreciate it. They're not necessary, but we do love it. So thank you very much. And we'll sign off, and we'll see you guys next Thursday night.
Sounds great.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks,
I'll
guys. Have
see
a
you
good
from
week.
Zach Sabbath. If you're in Milwaukee and you're going tomorrow, don't be afraid to hit me up and tell me you're going. We'll run into each other and we'll take a picture or something. So if you're going to be at Zach Sabbath tomorrow night, find me. I'll be there.
Cool.
All right, later, guys.
Cheers, guys.